And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of New Distributor Training for Saturday morning. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with Isogenics. And today I am wearing my Clarity t-shirt because today I hope to bring a little bit of clarity to the transition process that we'll be going through over the next couple of weeks here as we merge our two wonderful companies, Zege International with Isogenics International. And so good to see all of you. I encourage you, what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to go through a kind of a checklist real quick. I got, stuff in front of me, some notes prepared for today. And I'm going to try and go through a lot of stuff real quick because what I've noticed here in this past, predominantly this past week, is I've been going through the organization, reaching out to different members of the team and making sure that everybody's kind of got everything together in their mind about what we're going to be doing, what needs to happen and that sort of thing. And I've gotten a lot of questions, okay? And it just occurred to me that rather than doing something that we would typically do for our new distributors on Saturday morning, what I thought I'd do today is kind of just go through the things that I've been doing with various team members over, again, particularly this last week. And so I'm going to go through some of the details. I'm going to talk a little bit about, making sure your organizations are structured properly, that you got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed for when we make the transition to the new comp plan. The new comp plan, many of you, if not the majority of you, are going to see an immediate pay increase. And I want to just make sure that everybody's, set up to experience that. So grab your journals. Okay, got my journal handy. Always got, actually, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 journals within eyesight right here. So that I'll tell you, I'm a journaling maniac. And let's see, and I always got to point this out, especially for those of you that are really new to the network marketing profession, or maybe you've been with us for some time and ready to start engaging and building the business end of your business. I always encourage you to follow a simple system, okay? And the simple system that I've come up with is it's something I've done for 35 years now. Number one, get in, make a decision, sign up, get some of the company's products, some for yourself, some to sample out. You're going to want to be able to do that. Number two, get trained. Learn what it is we do. And number three, get going. Get going is simply reaching out to one of your active, engaged upline, take a few minutes, set up a game plan. Okay, set some goals, some long-term goals, some short-term goals. Get a game plan, because you can't get to where you want to go unless you know, first of all, where that is, and then the correct route to get there in the shortest amount of time. Now, that second point, get in, get trained, get going, get trained. I encourage you to take a few minutes, go to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija, Z-I-J-A, Fred Holmes Zija. And look at the playlist. The playlist has 4 little training videos on it. I really encourage you to take some time and look at that, especially if you've either never been involved in a network marketing business, or you've never been involved successfully in a network marketing business, or you've never had an opportunity to learn from people that have, if you will, broken the code, learned what to do. The key to success in our business is simplicity and duplication. And when you go to that those training videos, again, youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija, click on the playlist tab. You will see 4 little videos. The first one is the most important one because it's the fundamentals, what we do and how we do it. And take some time and go through that multiple times, all right? That 30-minute training that I do on that first video, that was something I was exposed to every single Saturday morning for 2 years to establish the business that allowed me to retire in 10 years and then come back out of retirement for Zija 12 years ago and eclipse the results that I had in my first 10 years. I was able to retire after 10 years. So hopefully I'm pitching you on watching that video. And for those of you that really want to focus on higher level understanding of how to get off to a fast start, how to build a successful business, the 3 additional little 10-minute videos will really help you with that process. How to create a prospect list, people to talk to, but do it like a professional. The concept of developing your isogenic story, that'll be your #1 tool. Your personal story will be your #1 tool. And then finally, the concept of a 90-day game plan, which every single one of us should be focusing on a 90-day game plan starting July 13th, the day we become a full-fledged Isogenics team members. So with that, let's go ahead and I do encourage you, as I go through this, write down some questions. Okay, this will be relatively short this morning, but write down some questions so that I can help you in the way that I've been helping some of my personal team members over this past week. So let's start out with the member integration checklist. You can get this document and everything that I'm going to be talking about, information you can get from the website isogenics.com/Zija. isogenics.com/Zija. And that should be your go-to place for all things related to the final steps of integration and becoming full-fledged members of the Isogenics team. Now, for some of you, this will be a little bit of review. You've already been doing this. I'm going to go through it fairly briskly. Questions, write them down, and then we'll cover them here in a few minutes when I start going through question and answers. And also, it's important, especially for those of you that already have some customers that you're working with. Maybe you've got some distributors that you're working with that you've developed. And bear in mind, when I say you have some distributors, I'm not speaking about just your personally enrolled. If that person is in your pay line, either side of your organization, then you have what I call a moral and fiduciary responsibility to support their efforts, independent of whether you personally sponsored them. Some of you will understand the concept of personal enrollment tree. Just because they may not be in your personal enrollment tree, if if they're in your organization and you receive income from them, you still have that responsibility. Do not assume that somebody downline from you is taking responsibility for their customers and their distributors. Okay, lead by example, reach out to your own customers, your own distributors, and continue to track down. Here's the whole focus of this. We want to make this transition as seamless, easy, and predictable as possible, and at the same time, retain and advance your income. Okay, don't miss these little tiny things, because it could make a really big difference down the road. Okay, so the first step is download this 3-page document, the integration checklist. Many people do not actively engage in in reviewing their back office. Okay, this could be customers that are set up on their monthly reorder. They're not in their back office checking information and what have you. Distributors, while they may be distributors in terms of title, their behavior is actually customers. Okay, they just order the product. Don't assume that because they're distributors, they're plugged in and on top of this process. Do this yourself for your own familiarity, and then support the other people to make sure they do the same thing. So little kinds of, I'm not going to go through every single little thing here. You get the document and read it, all right? But you want to go through and first of all verify your contact information. Everybody has to have a unique email address in the Isogenics program. So for instance, let's say you have a position in the org, in your position, and somewhere down the line in your team is your spouse, your partner, your honey, whatever, right? And they've got another position, but because you're a couple, you use the same email address. You will need to have a separate email address for every single person. That is one of the the defining items with the Isogenics program. to make sure that, you know, everybody is a legitimate distributor. So make sure that your current email address in your Zija back office is the one that you check on a regular basis. Make sure that that is a unique address that nobody else in your organization, your customers, you know, your spouse has that same one. Everybody has to have a different one. Now let's explore something that that many of you may have. I have. Okay, maybe you got mom as a customer in your organization, and mom doesn't do the internet. Okay, it's voodoo magic to her. She doesn't do the internet, and so you use your email address. Fix that. Okay, get mom her own email address. But Fred, she's never going to check it. That's okay. You don't have to change her behavior. Okay, you want to keep her on the products, or you know, some of you have customers like I do that are never going to order online. They're never going to put their credit card online. So what they do is they, you know, I've got a lot of customers, they just, you know, call me up and say, you know, I'm ready for another box of Super Mix, and I place their order. Okay, you know, I have a position for them. You know, there's a customer position, and they don't even know they got a back office. I take care of it for them because that's what suits them. You want to make sure that you set up a new email address for them if you're using your own. That's real simple. Go to Yahoo or, you know, Gmail or something like that. Set up a free email address. Just keep track of it in your notes that, you know, this is mom's new email address. This is Aunt Sally's new email address, so that you can have a unique address in their back office. You got to make sure that it's their credit card information, not yours, because that will become a problem very quickly down the road. Unique email or unique credit card numbers are going to be an issue. So just go through, make sure that your shipping address, your billing address, all of those things are up to date. And as you're doing this, start making notes of who's in your organization that you've been primarily taking care of that for them, that you need to go in there and do that for them as well. We do have some deadlines. If you have coupons that have been unused or Zija loyalty points that are unused, your deadlines on that, June 30th for the Zija loyalty points. Coupons is July 10th, so get them cleaned up, use them up and that sort of thing. That's something I'm really lagging on because I got a bunch of points that, you know, I honestly just don't pay much attention to that. It's just, you know, one of those things, and I got to go check on that because I can lose free product, right? Even I like free product. Your recognition name. This is really important because some of you have, you know, Bunky 37 as your recognition name because that's your email address and that's the only thing you ever use. Go into the, and you'll find that in your back office. In the upper right hand corner, you'll see your name. Click on that. You go down, it says account information. That's where you're going to find all that stuff. Now, your recognition name, that's how you want to be recognized. So for instance, if there's a contest and you're one of the people that's in the contest and, you know, on the leaderboard, you're up there, don't use, you know, West Marketing Enterprises, Segura Trust, okay? Those are my business entities. Can't use them, they're mine. But put your name in there the way you want it done. Now, my name is, you know, Frederick West Holmes. I don't want to be recognized as Frederick West Holmes. I want to be recognized as Fred Holmes. Put the name in the recognition name in the manner that you want to see it. Let's see. Again, you know, verify your tax information, Social Security number, employer's identification number, your bank account information. Many of us in Zija have been on the ProPay card for payment. Okay, very early on, I got off of that and switched to a direct deposit to my account. Some of you have already migrated to direct deposit. Double check and make sure if you're using a Zija ProPay card, that is going to be transferred to Isagenix version of that. If you're doing direct deposit, just, you know, confirm you don't want to lose a paycheck. You don't want to, you know, be sitting around and have to deal with the hassle of that. So check that. Now, username. This is something that's going to be very interesting. Read the details, page 2 of the document. But essentially your username, what you use to log into your back office, what you also have as your replicating website. My username is Fred. Now, I got Fred because, first of all, that's not all that common a name, and I was in so early there were no other Freds yet. So I got Fred. However, you need to have your username be unique in the system. And if your username is, you know, Mary Lou, and there's already somebody else in Isagenix that has that, you will need to change that. Okay, and in the process of doing so, you'll be able to find that. Okay, in the integration. Also, here's a challenge I've got. They require 6 or more characters. Okay, so Fred is only 4 characters. I'm going to have to come up with a new username. Another thing that is unique, or something that's not what we're accustomed to, Isagenix requires a separate name for your replicating website. So right now, in my case, my username is Fred. I go to, you know, myzija.com login, I put in Fred and then my password. Now I'm going to have to find a new one to log into my back office. However, I also use Fred. Your username in Zija is also your replicating website, fred.myzija.com. Whatever you have now, you know, Bunky37, marylou.myzija.com, that will automatically forward to your new Isagenix replicating website. However, Isagenix requires a separate username for the website, separate or different from your username for your account. So in my case, I'm probably going to have to switch my username to Fred Holmes, and my website address will have to be different. So I might use Freddie Holmes. I don't know. Probably won't use Freddie. Don't like Freddie. Don't call me Freddie. Nobody gets to call me Freddie. My mom gets to call me Freddie. That's it. So you're going to need 2 usernames, one for your website, one for your account, for your login, and just make sure you meet the criteria. 6 or more characters. They specify the number of you know, types of characters you can use. You will have to, it says here, your Zija password will carry over during the initial login, but you are going to have to comply with their formula for passwords. They talk about the formula, 8 to 20 characters, has to have both an uppercase and lowercase letter, has to have a special character like an exclamation point, must contain a number. Can't match your username, but I mean, I think we all know that now. You can't use your you know, login name and as your password. I think most people know that now. You're going to read, it talks about creating the website. You got to use another, you know, name, government ID. That is more applicable to some foreign countries. In the US and Canada, it's very easy for them to be able to confirm who you are with your social security number or your social insurance number in Canada. We call it an SSN, social security number. In Canada, they call it a SIN number. I'll just leave that one alone. So I'm going to keep going here real quick here. Reassignment of co-applicants. Many of you have set up your accounts so that you and your husband or you and your wife are co-applicants, equal owners of your position. Isagenix does that differently. And rather than going through details of that, because it really doesn't apply to everybody, it is better in the Isagenix plan to have 2 positions, one for you, one for your spouse. That was typically not something I recommended in the Zija program because the requirements for, you know, Builder 500 legs and that sort of thing. Isagenix plan is so simple. If you simply have 2 active customers or distributors, one on each side of your organization, you're entitled to the full, maximum payout in the binary pay plan. And so there is an advantage, unlike with Zija, to have your husband or your wife, your spouse, your partner, what have you, to have a separate position. They will support the co-applicant, although my personal opinion is there's no value to that. It is better to have two separate positions. Read the document about reassigning co-applicants to be, that's what they call it, co-applicants, okay? So let's see, establish a preferred placement. In isogenics, there is no concept of a holding tank. You're going to want to establish your preferred placement. For most of you, the preferred placement is going to be in your lesser leg. I do have actually a question that I have to talk about because I'm not doing inside outside at the moment. Immaterial what I'm doing. But you do want to establish your preferred placement. Many of you have done what I've done, which is let new enrollees go into the holding tank and then simply assign them before Friday. You will want to do that, and we'll learn a little bit more about unique placements. There may be a leg that you're working on, and especially those of you that got a little bit larger organizations. Anyway, so check your preferred placement. Shipping updates. We're going to be seeing a difference in shipping prices. Some of you may have already noticed that some of the isogenic shipping is less expensive. That's going to be a big benefit to us. They actually ship out of 5 locations in the US and 2 in Canada, so they can get preferred pricing for shipping, because that is so often dependent upon distance and timeliness. Right now we're getting all of our shipping, I think it's out of Illinois. Not sure. One of their distribution centers handling all of Zija, and we'll start to integrate and have them from all the distribution points. So that's the checklist. Now, a couple other things, and actually a number of other things here, and then we're going to do some questions. Auto ship, okay, what we call Zija rewards or loyalty rewards program. Isogenics also has a similar program. They also have a free shipping program like what we do. You pay a once-a-year fee. It's like Amazon Prime, and you get free shipping. Now, their program is actually kind of stronger than ours. There are no minimums to my knowledge. I remember reading about it and thinking, that's actually a pretty good program. Your current, if you're on the free shipping program from Zija, your current subscription will continue without interruption. So if you paid for the free shipping program in March of this year, it will continue until March of next year when it's time to renew, and it will then be renewed. You can then renew it with the Isogenics program, but you're not going to lose out on that. So you're going to continue to have your free shipping. The monthly reorder. In Zija, we had 2 levels of qualification. 75 PV qualifier, which allowed you to retain your banked volume and allowed you to receive your team commissions, the binary pay. It was a reduced amount. If you were on 75 PV, it was a reduced amount of some of the upfront monies, like first order bonuses and so on. The full commission program was 150 PV, which is essentially 2 boxes of Supermix. Now, and that's actually what my auto ship is. Now, many of you know I use a lot of product. I mean, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of product. It's one of my larger line items for my taxes is my personal consumption of Zija products, and it's a pretty good size line item actually. But my auto ship has always been, one Super Mix, one Smart Mix. Mom uses Smart Mix, I use Super Mix, and we know we're going to go through it. Mom goes through 2 of those a day or a month. I go through 2 a month. And so, but that was our auto ship, and we left the auto ship at 150 PV because that was the top qualifier to enable me to have all commissions. And the rest of the volume that I used went down line for me. This is a very exciting part of the Isogenics program. their full commission, they have one qualifier level. It's 100, and their term is BV, business value, 100 BV. And that's full qualifier. That's the only one they've got, 100 BV. Now, for most of you, that's not going to be an issue. Okay, most of you are using more than 100 BV of product on a monthly basis. However, for your distributors who are receiving commission checks and they're simply ordering 75 PV per month, you will want to get together with them and encourage them to up that to 100 BV so they can continue to get their commissions. Okay, and that, you know, make a suggestion to them or whatever. It's not that much more product. Their whole system is a little bit different than ours. We worked off of a 4-week period. Isagenix works off of the 30-day calendar month, and it's a rolling 30 days. So if somebody orders, you know, 50 BV, you know, on the first of the month, and then they order another 25 BV, you know, on the 15th, and then they run out of something on the 20th of the month, they order another 50 BV. They have accumulated during the rolling 30 days, so whatever the next week's commission comes up, they will get their commissions. Okay, now it's a rolling 30 days, so that doesn't mean that in a given calendar month, you know, they may not have had an order in on the first of the month. But if they're accumulating over a rolling 30 days, whatever the next commission check is, they will get it based on that volume. Another key thing, and I'm really excited about this, is that whatever order, it's not unusual that many of you who are ordering extra product, you've got, you know, I mean, let's be honest here, you got the cat enrolled on your left leg and the dog enrolled on your right leg, and as you need some extra product, you put it in, you know, Fluffy Smith's ID number and what have you, right? Sparky Smith's ID number. Because you don't get paid on volume that you personally eat. You get paid on volume that accrues in downline in your organization. And so, and I do the same thing. Now, what's exciting about Isagenix plan is whatever amount of product you've ordered throughout the 30-day rolling period of time, anything in excess of 100 BV will automatically be, the volume will be placed at the bottom of your lesser leg. So you will always get paid on the volume. Jerry, you're too cool. Thank you, Jerry. You'll always get paid on the additional volume of the products that you're using. Maybe you've got a whole family on the products, or if you're like me, you just use everything, okay? Because I use everything. I'm using, you know, the Isopro, Isoline, the bars, the Delights, the cookies. By the way, if you haven't tried those oat bites, those things are good. Those are really good. That, you know, half of my my Isagenix stock is going to mom for dessert. You know, she gets little chocolate she likes, the Isodelight protein bar, or the chocolate decadence protein bar. I cut one in half and I tell her it's a brownie. She loves that. You know, the little oatmeal cookies, those are a snack in the afternoon. So keeping mom happy, right? So anyway, I lost focus. Forgive me a minute. The 100 BV, you want to make sure that you and all the people that you have responsibility for, make sure they have set up the 100 BV before the transition date, okay, July 13th. And if you go into transition with a 100 BV auto ship, you will get a 10% off that first monthly reorder. Okay, cool, huh? They're incentivizing us to get it done by giving us 10% off. Now, be clear that there is going to be some minor adjustments in the BV for products that we're familiar with. Those of you who've been ordering Isagenix products, those products BV will stay the same. However, there will be some minor adjustments in the Zija products that you're familiar with And you just want to double check that. Okay, I think like for instance, the one box of super mix we currently have at 75 BV, and that is going to go to, I think it's 72 BV or 69 BV, something like that. Forgive me, some stuff is just, I don't have the focus to attend to every little detail, but all that information is available in the document that you can get from the website I gave you earlier, isogenics.com/Zija. So make a little note in your journal. You're going to check on the updated BV values just to make sure that you didn't mess up. You don't want to, you know, set up your next auto ship, have it, and it ends up being 98 BV, and you're not eligible for commissions or the 10% discount. Let's see. Another note here. Our back offices, everything that you're going to be doing here, and you got a lot of time, well, not a lot of time, but you got enough time to take care of this for you and your team members. Don't wait to the last minute, because there's always going to be a problem. You know, the internet will go down, right? Back offices will be shut down. We will not have access to our back offices on July 11th and 12th. So the 10th of July is the last day to get all this stuff done. And don't wait till the last day. I guarantee you, your computer's going to take a dump, right? On the last day. On July 11th and 12th, the back offices will not be accessible to us and our team members. And then on July 13th, we'll wake up in the morning and we will be able to get access to our new Isogenics back office. And I'm getting really excited about that. I've been hearing all kinds of wonderful things about the different tools they have in there for tracking volume and so on. So I'm really excited about that. Now, a couple of other quick things. At the minimum, you need to confirm that you have two active. Active is 100 BV. Personally enrolled in one each of your two legs. So if you only had two, and one was on the left and one was on the right, and they were at 100 BV, you'd be in great shape. There was a question about having to be new ones. No, they don't have to be new ones. These could be customers you've had for years. For the Crystal Bonus Awards, they had the people that you would use to qualify for Crystal Bonus Award program. Those had to be newly enrolled since February 1. And for those of you that maybe you didn't get in the Crystal Consultant, Crystal Manager, you can still get the other ones. Crystal Director, I believe that's that we have until the July 20-something, 27th, 26th, 28th to accomplish that. You've got another 2 months following that to do the Crystal Executive Bonus. So those are still available to you, but for the purposes of your commission, the two active people can be anybody. Somebody you signed up yesterday, last month, last year, last decade. So long as they're at 100 BV and you got one on each side. Let's see, what else do we got here? I'm trying to remember some of the other questions I had. There is another thing you need to be aware of, and that is for those of you that have, you know, extraordinarily high banked volume. Okay, that banked volume, I mean, I've seen some of my team members, they've got 1 million bank volume points. They've got, you know, 2 million bank volume points. Be very clear on this. While it looks nice to see that there, that volume you will never get paid. You would never have gotten paid out on that in the Zija comp plan. It is not possible to be able to retrieve that level of volume. I actually did the numbers once, and this has to do with you know, caps on the various income levels of our various ranks. You only get so much income if you're a silver. Only, you know, you're capped at gold, capped at white gold, and so on. It was artificial volume that was not possible to be received. You will, in Isogenics, they have the similar thing, they call it carryover volume, but their carryover volume is never exceeds the level that that can be maximally paid out. In Zija, we allowed people to see carryover volume or banked volume that was never going to be paid out. In Isogenics, it's a much more you know, full disclosure kind of program. The maximum you can get paid out on in a week is 150,000 BV, 150,000. That's because that's the maximum number of times you can cycle. You can cycle 250 times in a week, which is the equivalent of $13,500 in income. The maximum amount of points in your greater leg that you'll ever be able to use is 150,000. During this transition, those of you that got that, you know, ridiculously high bank volume, it will be reduced to the 150,000. Do not be surprised by that. Do not be shocked by that. Talk to your people about it, because you don't want people going, oh my God, they stole my volume. No, they didn't. It was artificial. It was something that you would never, ever, ever be able to get paid on. And I'm going to give you an illustration. I did, in my third year with Zija, was able to pull down over 800,000 bank volume points. It was an incredibly unique situation. I didn't do it on purpose, but it just happened to work out. I ran the numbers at one time. I figured that it was possible to potentially pull down close to 1 million points, but it was impossible under any circumstances to be able to pull down more than that. So if you're one of those people that's got, you know, 7 million bank volume, you never would have been able to use it. The maximum you're going to be able to use is 150,000 BV. So just be aware that that's going to happen. Don't freak out. You know, talk to your upline diamond if you got questions about it. But I've gone through this process. I've assured a number of my team members, you're not losing anything. The only thing that's happened is your potential income has dramatically increased. In the Zija comp plan, the maximum team commissions you could earn in a week was $10,000. With Isogenics, it's $13,500. And to be able to do it in the Zija plan, you had to have 6 Builder 500 legs every week. In the Isogenics plan, the only structural requirement is 2 personally enrolled active people, 1 in each leg. And if you're one of those fortunate people that had an organization just blossom underneath you, not through your own efforts, you're gonna make a fortune. Okay, so that was pretty much everything I had to cover. I'm gonna check over here for questions. Pop them into the chat box, okay? Let's see. Jerry, good morning, sir. You know, Jerry, I appreciate those comments. You guys didn't get to see Jerry. He sent his message just to the panelists, not the attendees. And my modesty prohibits me from reading it to you. Just know he said some really nice things. Jerry, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that more than you know. What I do no longer for me. I do it to try and help other people to, you know, experience some of the things that I've been blessed to experience. And so when you say stuff like that, I appreciate that. Okay, Mary, you only get paid on your excess volume 68. Okay, I'm assuming that 68 was just like a little finger fart. You only get paid on your excess volume. You only get paid on your excess volume. Mary, clarify that for me so I can answer the question that you're asking. In the Zija plan, we got paid 5%, I'm sorry, 10% of the lesser legs volume. So if you had 2,000 on one side, 1,000 on the other, you'd get paid $100. That's 10% of 1,000. okay? Whereas, yeah, Mary, you're more than welcome to call me later. Whereas with the Isogenics plan, they have what's called cycle pay. And so as soon as, starting Monday morning, as soon as there are orders placed that equal 300 BV in your lesser leg and 600 BV in your right leg, right then they tally that up and they call that a cycle. A cycle in California, in the United States, is $54 payout. So $54 is paid out. The volume that you use to get that cycle pay, the 600 on the big side and the 300 on the lesser side, that's get pulled away, just like in Zeja's weekly plan. And you can cycle, as the orders come in, you can cycle up to 250 times in a week. So you might be getting those $54, and when I say $54 cycle pay checks, they're not going to send you a check every time you get $54. They're going to total it up at the end of the week. That's when they're going to, send you the one deposit, right? But you could cycle, once a day, get $54 every day over 7 days. That's $350 a week. Okay, $350 a week. What's that? Almost $1,500 a month. That's not bad. It's a good part-time business. You could cycle once a day. You could cycle once an hour. You could cycle once a minute, up to a total of 250 cycles in the calendar week. It's I mean, I'm like everybody else in Zeja for the most part. Not everybody. I've got a couple of my team members that have very balanced legs. Their volume on the left, volume on the right is pretty consistent, week to week, month to month, and but they've accumulated a lot of banked volume for quite some time. They'll be pulling down what they call it in Isogenics carryover volume. They'll be pulling that down, so they'll have a period of time. What you're really looking for is what the normal binary distributorship looks like. Commonly, in a binary program, you will have one leg that is greater than the other. And that has to do with the fact that that's an outside leg of people above you. So you're at the top, sponsor on the outside, sponsor on the outside, sponsor on the outside. Everybody is building one leg down the outside. You'll want to, wherever you come into that organization, also want to be building to your inside. You'll be put some on the left, some on the right, but it's very common and normal that you have one larger leg, one lesser leg. For most people that have that, and that's the majority of Zeja distributors, you're going to see an immediate pay increase. Okay, I already did a quick, and it was really quick because I don't have a lot of time to play with numbers, but I did a really quick estimate, looking at like the last 90 days of my income. And understand, in my position, I don't get just the binary pay. I get, a diamond pool, an emerald pool, lifestyle bonuses, and all that kind of stuff, right? So there's a lot of extra money in there. Without those things, because those don't actually have places in the Isogenics plan, with, my total Zeja check with just compared to just the Isogenics check, it's about a 30% pay increase, like that. Which is, what most of you are going to experience. Most of you that have those typical binary pay organizations where one side is greater than the other. So those are things I wanted to go through. Any other questions? Okay, and Mary, you've got my home number. You're welcome to give me a call or text me, and we'll arrange a time. Any other questions? Let's see here. Now, Christine, I see Christine Holland in there. Christine has a very significant organization. Christine, feel free to chime in if you have any issues that you've been dealing with that you think we need to bring up right now here in the last couple of minutes. Anything else? I'll sing and I'll dance for you, but I want to make sure that we get a chance to deal with these questions. And folks, if a question, you review your notes here. like you always do after Saturday, right? You always review your notes, right? And all of a sudden it pops in your head, well, there's a good question I should ask Fred. Reach out to me. Okay, I'll do whatever I can to help you. Most of you have, very prominent upline leaders that'll be more than happy to work with you, and quite frankly, probably have a better handle on it than I do. Some of you already know the two of the most important life principles I've ever learned, and I live my life by them, were taught to me by my 5-year-old son. Okay, he's 40 now, so that was a long time ago, right? The first thing he taught me is that there is more than one right way to do a thing. Okay, and I won't explain the story to you, but it's always been my mindset. There's a right way to do things, and I always do things this way. Why? Because I've already determined it's the right way. It's the best way, the most efficient way. It's the way to do something. And my beautiful young son explained to me one day that there is more than one right way to do a thing. And then secondly, the second most important thing I've learned, not the most important, but two of the most important things I've learned in life, was also taught to me by Jeremy. And that was, it doesn't always have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. And so learning that, I've kind of adopted that. And so there's a lot of things that, they're not important to the end result. What's the end result? Share the product, share the opportunity, teach others to do the same. Build the organization, help people achieve their goals, help enough people get what they want. You're going to get everything you want. Do it, so long as it's ethical, legal, moral, operate in the principles of honesty, integrity, authenticity, and and I don't get too bogged down by the details. So many of you will find you might get better help from your upline diamond leader, but certainly feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to do whatever I can. Christine says you covered it well. I will chat offline about the verbiage we were using about where extra volume goes. Oh, please do, and how it affects volume. I don't point people in. And thank you, Betty. I like it when people say I did good. Oh, this is a great suggestion from Christine. She's encouraging people, her team, to talk to people that haven't ordered in a long time. Okay, this is a perfect. Thank you, Christine. It's something I'm also doing. I'm going through my back office. I'm looking at all my personally enrolled. Okay, because it's easy to find them all in one place. And there's people I've forgotten about. People that were customers a long time ago. They haven't been purged from the system. We haven't done a inactive distributor purge in Zija for quite some time. This is a great opportunity to get back with them. You could generate new volume from people that haven't been ordering for a while by simply using this as the reason you're contacting them, to make sure that they've got everything taken care of in case they want to order again. And oh, by the way, have you heard about the incredible new products we got? Because we got some folks. Listen, let me tell you something. Those of you that exercise, work out, especially if you've been using the Zija sports nutrition products, you got to check out Isagenix's products. The Isagenix products. The sports nutrition products, they are good. I mean, I really like these products. I mean, I've been, the whole program, the Isa Body Challenge, has been great because I've been trying to increase the amount of protein I'm getting in my diet, because I'm an old guy and I want to get muscle, right? But not only is that been very easy to increase my protein, the sports nutrition products got a batch of them in, and they're whiz bang. Okay, they're whiz bang. Got to check that stuff out. I should get a new comp plan. Have deduction roll based on people. Well, that's interesting. Christine points out here that you may be able to get paid on people that you could never have gotten paid on before. Okay, because of the you know, 1/3, 2/3 ratio with the isogenics binary pay. But that's probably a little bit too involved for most people at this point in time. All right, last go here. Questions. I think we're good for now. Hey, Christine, yeah, catch up with me. Let's chat. And Mary, always welcome a call from you. And although I don't know why you'd call me, Christine's got the deal, but you can call me too. Okay. So I think we're good for now, folks. Listen, I hope this was helpful. I know it was a little bit probably not as exciting as I don't know, maybe it was as exciting as what I normally do. But anyway, hope it was helpful. Do this stuff for your own business. For those of you with an organization, reach out to your team members to make sure they're on top of it. And in particular, if you have team members that also have organizations, and they don't have to be huge, you know, 2 or 3 customers, get them to do the same thing. Establish the correct behavior, teach it to your people, encourage them to duplicate it through their team. Okay, that's what we do. All right, have a great rest of your weekend. We'll be right back here next week. Let's talk with Pat Anderson Wednesday evenings. Go to yousharetheysshare.info, and you'll access her broadcast Wednesday evenings 9:30 Eastern. Back here on Thursday with me, Biz Talks at 8:30 Eastern. And then one more time back here Saturday morning, new distributor training. Thank you all. Appreciate the contributions from those of you that helped me out here. And see you next week. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.